Finch has been part of this community for over 150 years, even older than the city of Glens Falls itself. The city grew up sort of around Finch Paper. There are a lot of challenges being in manufacturing and trying to find folks to work in manufacturing. Women really don't think about manufacturing as a viable career.
The world is changing, our needs are changing, we are becoming more technical oriented, and we want local people to get interested, not only in Finch, but also in technology and science.
When we looked at the data, it was quite staggering. You know, boys are very prevalent in science and engineering, and girls aren't. What it meant to Finch Paper was, if we're going to change the way we think about paper or about manufacturing, we need to increase the number of people in the field. And so we approached Queensbury schools and looked for a way to get more involved with the K through 5 so we could introduce them at a younger age to these type of programs.
We knew we needed to look at curriculum that was project-based, hands-on learning. We know our kids do best when they can get messy and think and problem solve. And so when Finch approached us about the grant, we really looked more closely at Project Lead the Way. We had at that time had it in our high school and frankly never had considered it at the elementary level.
The best thing about it is for a lot of students, the hardest obstacle with learning, the biggest thing in their way is that fear of being wrong. And Project Lead the Way takes that out because it's not a question-answer kind of thing. It's the kids investigating and coming up with different solutions to problems, and there is no right or wrong answer.
We can experiment and see how things work, look at it from different angles. You get to use your hands for most of them, and you sometimes you get to help out other friends. In Project Lead the Way, you experience something and get to learn a lot of math things.
I think our students have benefited from going to Finch and seeing that process come to life.
The connections that the kids make with engineering and Project Lead the Way and knowing that it could lead to a job right here in Glens Falls, I think will absolutely impact them when they go to choose a career.
To me, at first, I was just it's paper. Not so much of use, but then when I went on the tour, I realized there's so much work that goes into it, and it's just there's tons of different machines, and they have to paper goes through a lot of stages. It starts out wood, they take off the bark, then it's little wood chips and stuff, then they make this little thing that's paper at first, which is really wet and hard. And they make it into nice paper, and there's a lot of hard stages that it has to go through.
It was fun to see a community partner really that excited to be closely involved, and they weren't just looking to sponsor us financially, they wanted to get their employees in our classrooms to help us really develop this and see it firsthand.
So this partnership and really reaching girls at a young age really is fostering that curiosity in STEM. And our goal is to recruit girls and women into STEM education and STEM careers. And it may take a few years to get there, and it'll take a few years before we see those first graduates, but we fully expect those graduates to come back and hopefully have a career with Finch.
We get to learn about nature and do different experiments. Science, you can create something that can explode. When you're doing math, you can make a lot of questions and sentences.
I can notice my daughter Rosie as a fourth grader. She's starting to look at her life and ask, okay, what do I want to do? It seems like just a year ago, she wanted to be a ballerina, or now she's saying, well, maybe I could do something in science. Maybe there's something else out there for me.
It gives me a good feeling to know that my company is willing to invest in my daughter and try and make the playing field more level for young women. The bottom line is they're investing in my child's future, and that's not something that they have to do.
10 years, 12 years, 20 years later, those people, men and women, will grow up and they will remember. They will remember that Finch did something great while they were kids that sparked their interest in what they have become.